أعوذ بالله سميع عليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم وبعد. The guest of honor, His Eminence the Mufti of Uganda, represented by the Secretary General, Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, the Director of Sharia, Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, but also importantly, Dr. Ziadi Rubanga Swale is here also as the Secretary for Examination Board called Ipe, Idadi and Thanawi Examination Board. When the children graduate from here, then they will be handed over to Dr. Saleh Ziadi Rubanga, who is the secretary for that board. You have to understand this. That's why he is here, more importantly. We also have the secretary for admin, Mr. Yazid Katurebe, Honorable. We also have Honorable Donkara. He is the secretary for Awqaf and endowment. If you want more land for constructing your schools, he is the owner of land here in Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. He doesn't sell land, but he will give you land so that you can build more of your of your schools. I also have the Secretary for Religious Affairs with us. I've seen the our accountant, Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, Hajati. You are most welcome. I've seen the protocol. When you see him, protocol is observed. Haji Musana Sulaiman. I've seen my chairman of Education Committee, National Education Committee, Haji Katerega Namuguzi Mutaka. I have also seen our secretary, the assistant, the regional assistant to His Eminence the Mufti from West Uganda. We normally know them as our regional Kadhis. Yes, and all the members of management, whom I may not have seen them, and then also the members of the board of IPLE, headed by Chairman Sheikh Amir Katude and all your team, and the secretary for the board, Sheikh Kazibwe. Guest of honor, I want to before you, I want actually to thank the directors of these schools, because these are the people who keep the candle of Islam, the nur of Islam, to light in Uganda. They are the directors of these schools. These directors would have constructed the hotels if they wanted money, if they wanted the world. But they constructed schools that teach both Islam and the world. Exactly what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said: "Man arada dunya fa alayhi bil ilm, wa man arada al akhirah fa alayhi bil ilm, wa man arada huma fa alayhima bil ilm." So these two ilms are being retained by these people. I also want to thank before you the teachers who have committed themselves to give the knowledge to these children, and also the parents who they also have choices. They can choose to give their children to schools which are only secular, but they chose to give these children two types of knowledge. We want to thank them, and your efforts are not in vain. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you more in this world and in the hereafter. I want to thank the board, which is called IPLE Examination Board. This board is doing exams in time, and they follow all the instructions required for examinations. They also involve the security, the police. And someone was telling me that, by the way, we wanted to register in Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, but the examinations are very tough. In UGSA, examinations are very cheap. It is easy to pass. I told them, supposing your child is called cheap, a cheap child, do you feel happy? Cheap child. Cheap things are more costly. And when Allah is talking about going to heaven, it is not slope. He says, فَلَقْتَهَمَ الْأَقَبَةِ. It is the hardest part that you have to climb, not the cheap one. If you want cheap ones, go for them. But for Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, we have standards. There is something we are teaching children. There is something we want, there is an outcome we want from these children. That's why the exams are tough and children are tougher. Today you can see that these children are tougher than these exams. Takbir. People fear to use this. You know this word, somebody used it there and he used a lot of vibe in saying, Takbir. I feared because the other time some people came here. They said takbir in the mosque here, people started running away. So people have turned the word takbir, that nice word, Allahu Akbar, Allah is great, is now turned to be a threat. Yet when the Christians say theirs, Hallelujah, everybody says Amen. But when somebody says takbir here, people are afraid now of this word. Nobody wants to say Allahu Akbar. I think it is a good word. Let us change that narrative from negative to positive. Takbir. Nobody should run away. It is a good word. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very grateful to be graced in our occasion by His Eminence the Mufti of Uganda, and whose chair was the Secretary General. Now he himself has come to grace this day. Your Eminence, you are most welcome. Your Eminence, you found that the Secretary for the board had already given his report that he's going to give you. The report in the document itself is going to give you. The proprietors of the schools and the education centers are the source of nur. They are the source of light of Islam. The moment you stop teaching Islam, teaching our children, that will be the end of Islam. And we thank you very much for creating these schools. I'd thanked the parents before for allowing their children to learn Islam. I also want to thank, and you people should thank Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. And I've always said that Uganda Muslim Supreme Council is the mother body that manages affairs of Muslims in Uganda. There is no any other body which is a big body like this. And I want to reiterate what the Secretary General said yesterday, that Uganda Muslim Supreme Council should give a commitment to the government of Uganda that the affairs of Muslims in this country should be seen through the constitution that is managing Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. Because if the government understands the constitution of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council and understands the policies of education in Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, then that is where we cannot go wrong. We shall always follow that mainstream program without diverting to other associations. And I have to tell you, you do not know maybe how much this mother, you know, when we call mother, I want to give you example of a chicken, of a hen. How the hen takes care of the children when it is raining. The chicks inside the mother will not see how serious the mother is suffering from holding or suffering from the rain when the children are under it enjoying it. And that is exactly how the Office of Education is helping and fighting for your issues that you do not know. Number one, the issue of madrasa. Madrasa has been labeled in Uganda as a breeding ground for terrorism. The moment the government says stop madrasa, all your schools will stop. But why is it not stopping? It's because Uganda Muslim Supreme Council has a mother body. We work hard to explain to the government that madrasas are places for educating our children to understand Islam and for giving them value. And there are people who have value. Muslims are people with values. And these values are taught in these madrasas. We are the one doing it, not you. So you should know what we are doing. There are people who ask, what has Supreme Council done? That question, I have to tell you, you are asking because you are ignorant of what Supreme Council is doing. Number two, the Ministry of Education is questioning the issue of dual curriculum. And recently we have been in a meeting also defending the dual curriculum. We are saying dual curriculum, they are saying dual curriculum is stressing children. That you find a child is doing secular, again the same child is doing Islamic. So all this is disturbing the children. That's what they say, and we are there defending it. Number three, they also say Islamic schools. That's what they say in that meeting. That Islamic schools have a timetable which is all dominated by Islamic studies, and they don't give chance for secular education. That's what they say. But we tell them, the government, that madrasa is not a source of terrorism, but it is a source of combating terrorism. Because the Quran tells us that وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى شَيْءٍ إِلَى الشَّرِّ أو إلى الخير يَدْعُونَ إلى الخير. This ummah will be doing khair, it will be doing the good things. The second thing it says, وَيَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, we shall be enjoining doing the right things and forbidding what is wrong. And terrorism is among the wrong things that we are forbidding. And it is from this madrasa, from this dual curriculum, that we have seen our imams, that we are seeing our county sheikhs, we are seeing our district qadis, we are seeing our regional qadis, we are even seeing our muftis in this country, who are the products of this dual curriculum. So we are arguing this matter on your behalf. You have to understand what we are doing. Then, on the issue of the capacity, they say the children are being overloaded. I was asking them, what do you know? You know the capacity of a computer. They say it is a 10 GB, 100 GB. Do you know the capacity of a child's brain? Do you know how much it is? Nobody knows how big that one is. It is unscientific when they say like this. Because our children perform in two ways. One, they perform well in their Islamic studies. At the same time, they are performing even better in secular. They perform well. So why do you say that they have it? So we are telling them it is unscientific, it is not researched. So they should not say dual curriculum is over stressing our children. Now, the timetable, it is also wrong for them to say the timetable is full of Islam. It's also wrong. Because I have gone to these schools, inspected them, and I've seen these timetables, and the timetable is equally balancing between secular and Islam. Therefore, all this is what we are doing for you, and you should appreciate what Uganda Muslim Supreme Council is doing. Number two, Your Eminence, the issue of curriculum. This year, the Education Department is going to look into the issue of improving on curriculum. Curriculum is not a Quran that cannot be changed. In fact, curriculum is an outline of the concepts, outline of the contents, And then packaging, how we package those contents of the Quran, the contents of Hadith to different ages of the children. And then curriculum also means how do you teach? What do you teach? Why do you teach? Those are the things that are looked into curriculum, and they change from one time to another. This time, the issue of ICT. How do we include ICT in our curriculum? How do we improve the children? Because in education, the word education is not the same as teaching. Education is more than teaching. Education involves teaching. Education involves mentoring the children. Education involves training the children. Education involves evaluating the children, not only in class, but also their behavior. You know, people now no longer fear Muslim community everywhere in the world. Why? Because we are not careful with our curriculum. We don't know what we are teaching our children. We should this time think of teaching our children how to think by themselves, not how to remember what we tell them. That's where we have to go. We have to teach our children how to create ideas. They should be idea creators. We should teach our children how to solve a problem instead of creating problems. One time, there was an issue in Israel where Israel attacked Gaza before. Then the Arab world they had to come up quickly to form to come for a meeting called the Arab League meeting. So the Israelis were asked that now Arabs have sat in a meeting. Are you not worried about that? They said, no, we are not worried about the meetings in the Arab World League. If they have one problem, they sit in that meeting. When they resolve, now they come up with the two problems. They don't solve any problem. And I took that one serious because I've seen in Uganda. In Uganda, we are saying we need to have one mufti to control all the Muslims in Uganda. Instead, they were two. And instead of solving the problem of the second one to become one, we created the third problem. Now we have the third mufti. Is that, you see that? We need to teach children how to solve a problem, not how to create what? To create problems. And that one is only when we tackle it in curriculum, not outside that one. So we need to check and look into our curriculum, and we are assigning this duty to the board of the examination. Amir Katude and your team, you will lead this program because you are the one who gives exams and you are the one evaluating the children. And then you will be joined by Dr. Sale Rubanga and other team experts to help us have a good curriculum this year for the next year. The third issue I want to emphasize on is the issue of teaching the Islamic Teacher Training College. ICUC has already a program. I want you directors, please send your teachers to go for this education training. They should learn they should learn the pedagogy. It's very important. And Dr. Sally Rubanga has told me that we have another teachers training college in Iganga. I don't know the name. I think I have to visit that training college and we see if they can help us and improve into the teachers training. If the teacher is good, the children will also be good. But if the teacher is abusing Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, abusing leaders, abusing His Excellency, the President of abusing, if he is abusing and he is a teacher, what do you expect of the children? So, we need to cooperate with these schools. I know we have cooperation, but we need deeper cooperation. And you have to register your schools. I know you register for exams. That is something else. But you have to register with the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council so that you have a registration certificate hanging on your what? On your schools. In secular, you first register your school with the Ministry of Education. But at the same time, you also register your school with the UNEB. That for UNEB is purpose for exams. But to be part of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, please, I'm asking you to come and register your school so that you have the certificate of registration of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. Number two, to the schools, I also urge you to include sports program in your schools for both male and female. Don't say, again say it is bidder. Sports for women. Sport is very, very important. We need to have a way. If a woman is doing training, what type of clothes does that woman, does that lady need to put up, to dress so that she can do her training? Which environment does she do her training? Because training is good for the mind and the body. So with the sports, we are also going to start this year. We are going to set up policies on controlling the sports in the Islamic arena. The other issue is the issue of ICT. I am very happy Sheikh America today has started e-learning. That is ICT, which is very good. We should embrace it, and we should have it in all our schools so that we cope.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قل هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون إنما يتذكر أولو الألباب وقال تعالى يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم والذين أوتوا العلم درجات صدق الله العظيم. Honorable Secretary General Alhaji Abbas Murubi, Secretary General Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, Secretary for Education Sheikh Juma Baketi Chichu Maguru Nyondo, I call him Maguru Nyondo, he has another third leg there. Director of Sharia Dr. Ziad Swale Rubanga, Secretary for Administration, Secretary for Awqaf, other members of the management, our regional assistants to the Mufti, the one of West Uganda. I can't see the other one on the end. Yeah, Secretary for Religious Affairs. The Chairman Board, IPLOE, Sheikh America today, and the board members, heads of our religious institutions and the schools, the teachers, the parents, the children, the media. Ladies and gentlemen, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Njoza yoza mwenna abali wano olwaleero nga tusumulula ebigezo ebya primary education eby'abaana baffe bye bakola omwaka guno nga biva mu baana baffe abalaze obulungi nti basobola okutambuza enjiri ey'okusoma byombi eby'eddiini n'ebyensi. Mu kino njagala okuyozaayoza abazadde abasasula fiizi n'enjozaayoza n'abasomesa abasomesa abaana baffe obulungi, ate n'enjozaayoza n'akakiiko akakulirwa Sheikh America today akasengeka ebigezo n'ekitongole eky'ebyenjigiriza ekya Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. Barakallahu fikum, era Allah basulemu birungi. Mbebaza okuwagira Uganda Muslim Supreme Council nga muyita mu byenjigiriza. Mbebaza abakulembeze b'amasomero ne bodi zammwe n'obukiiko bwammwe okuwandiisa amasomero gammwe mu Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. Supreme Council kye kitongole kyammwe ekitunuulira ensonga zonna ez'obusiraamu. Teri kitongole kirala. Wa buli muntu ayaayanira kujja mu Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. n'olwekyo tolinda ate gwobeera asembayo. Wagira Uganda Muslim Council mu byenjigiriza tukola kyonna ekisoboka okulabika nti omutindo gw'ebyenjigiriza gwegwo ogukkirizibwa mu ddiini yaffe ey'obusiraamu era ogukkirizibwa ne mu gavumenti yaffe eya Uganda naddala mu minisitule y'ebyenjigiriza. Sheikh Juma Baketi Chuchu abategeezezza entalo ze tubeeramu ze mutamanyi ezikwatagana ne siribasi n'ebyetaagisa okuteekebwa mu siribasi eyo, entalo z'amaanyi temuzimanyi naye z'amaanyi. Njagala mwebaze nti bw'abanga ayogera ku nsonga y'obusiraamu abeera w'amaanyi era be bamu ku bantu abafudde ebyenjigiriza by'eddiini si mu busiraamu mwokka ne mu ddiini endala, kubanga balwanyisa byonna bye boogera wano n'awala ababyogera. Twetaaga tubeere nga mu byenjigiriza byaffe tureflectinga enjigiriza ya Qur'an n'enkola y'omubaka waffe Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Tewali we tugenda kuyitirawo nga tukozesezza amagezi gaffe nga waliwo Qur'an, waliwo n'enjigiriza ya nabbi waffe Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Byonna tubisomese naye kakasa nti omwana wo amanyi Qur'ani, amanyi ne hadisi za nabbi waffe Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Kuba ne bwebera aya emu ne bwebera hadithi emu, nabbi yagamba nti omuntu agyeyigiriza, omuntu agituusa eri omulala, Allah amusaasire. Njagala okubategeeza nti Uganda Muslim Council egezaako okubeera nti eteekawo era n'ebigezo ebya secondary, Dr. Sibwe kiri ebya idadi ne thanawi nga nabyo biyita mu Uganda Muslim Council, primary, idadi ne thanawi, nga biri ku mutindo omulungi. Era tusuubira nti inshallah tutandisewo universities, University ya Islamic University weeri ne waliwo Islamic University College weeri wano ku kitebe ky'obusiraamu ekya Uganda Muslim Council. Yatandikibwawo ekiseera ekitali kyawala ekigenze ekyakayitawo, naye kati mulimu abaana bangi, naye mugiwagire mugiweereza abaana kulwokubanga eri wano ku kitebe kyammwe eky'obusiraamu. Kinaaba kirungi okusomeseza wano omwana wakula ajja kuba amanyi imaamu abeera atya, wetwalaale abeera atya, district abeera atya, regional assistant abeera atya, ne mufti alondebwa atya, agibwako atya, oyo anaaba abitegeera bulungi. Bwe tutyo bwe twagala n'okuteekawo theological colleges ezitendeka baseeka. Mubalaba biseera ebisinga bali ku mitimbagano, asalibi daawa tebazimanyi, buli muntu seeka, buli muntu mufti, buli muntu avuma, buli muntu atyobola, buli muntu alamula. Naye nga Uganda Muslim Council tulina programu ey'okuteekawo theological college etendeka baseeka, nga tunawo kubeera imaamu wa muzigiti ojja kubanga omaze okuyita mu ttendekero eryo. Tonabeera seeka wa Twale ojja kubanga omaze okuyita mu ttendekero eryo. Tonabeera kubeera district kadhi onookumanya era ng'omaze okuyita mu ttendekero eryo. Abasigadde bajja kujja nga bagira ki? Bw'onoobeera imaamu nga wayitayo kijja kubeera kyangu okubeera nti ovuka wa Twale. Bw'obeera w'Etwale nga wayitako mu theological college kijja kubeera kyangu okubeera nga ofuuka district kadhi, nabwe kityo okutuuka okubeera mufti. Kijja kuba kizibu okubeera mufti ng'olina PhD ovudde Madiina okugwa mu basiraamu. Tufunye ebizibu bingi nnyo. Oba olina masters ovudde Riyadh oba ovudde Egypt ne tukasuka mu basiraamu wakati, tolina alakat, public relations teriiwo. ekisinza okutawaanya n'okutabangula obusiraamu be baseeka abo ba Google ba bloggers. Omuntu n'akwata hadithi y'emu n'agenda ku mutimbagano n'awulira ku lugambo olulala oli ku mutimbagano n'areactinga n'alimba n'avuma. Kyekyo ekibadde mu aya qul hal yastawi alladhina ya'lamuna walladhina la ya'lamuna, benkana abamanyi n'abatalina kye bamanyi. Ansa egamba la yastawun, tebenkana. Twetaaga abamanyi abajja okutaasa obusiraamu, abajja okubeera nti bongezaayo obusiraamu, so si abajja okuleetera obusiraamu ebizibu mu biseera by'omu maaso. Twebaza gavumenti ya Uganda olw'okuba nti waliwo emirembe gy'okusinza egitalina mu mawanga amalala g'abasiraamu, nti osobola okusoma khutuba gy'oyagala, osobola okuwa fatwa gy'oyagala n'osula ng'olika, wabula ogiwa bw'oti oba ku mutimbagano oba ku ki ng'omaze okulaba banka oba empuku mwogenda okugira ki. Naye wano looza mulaba ebigenda mu maaso. Kale twebaza okubeera nti waliwo eddembe ly'okusinza, naye tusaba likozesebwe bulungi, tulebe kulyonoona. Dokita yayogedde mu Lungereza eby'obutujju. Lwaki obusiraamu babwataakinga n'obutujju? Ddala mu butuufu naawe oyinza okulaba nga obusiraamu si butujju, naye abasiraamu be bainsighting ate okuleetawo obutujju. Mu nsi yonna tewali mawanga gasinga kulwanagana nga g'abasiraamu, agalimu abasiraamu 100%. Kiva ku ki? Quran tebagirina, hadisi tebazirina, bazirina. Ne lwaki balwanagana? Kuba omuntu ayinza okugamba nti kale justify, mbuulira lwaki ogamba nti obusiraamu diini ya mirembe, mweko ekizampo za muwanga. Omuleetera ggwanga ki eritali mu ntalo, eritalwana? Bashekhe, ggwanga ki munyambeko ba headmasters, bashekhe, nsi ki ey'obusiraamu eteri mu ntalo? Mugamaanyi gano ge tuwulira nti tegalwanago. In one way or another bayinza okuba nga balwana by proxy, nga balina we balwanira, wadde tubalaba ku ngulu naye munda balina ki? Balwana, bawagira entalo. Naye njagala mbabuulire nti waliwo ekyafaayo ekyokubeera nti abantu bwe baali battiŋŋana mu muwanga lwa ddiini lwa mawanga, ojja kusanga nga eggwanga erya Rwanda lye lyokka lye tuwulira mu byafaayo nti bwe baaliwo ekitta abantu, ate emizigiti gye gyali ekifo bw'oddukirayo obeera mirembe. E Rwanda n'omukulembeze waayo n'atuuka okugamba eddiini y'obusiraamu tekwatangako emikono gyayo tekuli musaayi, abasiraamu tebalina misaayi mu ngalo zaabwe. N'olwekyo lwaki abo batusinga? Kati oyinza ogamba nti kakati otwala ekyokulabirako ky'abannaffe Abawarabu, naye twala ekyokulabirako eky'abannaffe Abasiraamu aba Africa, nti kisoboka okubeera nti obusiraamu mu Africa tusobola okuperforminga obulungi okusinga n'abo abagamba nti be bannannyini-bwo, singa tuba tugoberedde Quran. Tebalina kipya kye batuleetera. This is what I always tell my people, that these so-called Muslim countries, they have nothing to present to us to copy from them, because we have the Quran in our midst, we have the Sunnah, the guidance of the Holy Prophet. So we don't need anything from them. We don't emulate them in anything. Otherwise, we may also be falling in the same trap that they are in. When we claim that Islam is the religion of peace, what examples can we show that really Islam is the religion of peace? But it is embedded in the Holy Quran under the guidance of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, teachers, parents, And our children, let's study Islam, the real Islam, not to copy, not to pick Islam from social media. We have the Quran in our midst, we have the guidance of the Prophet, and let's stick to that. Olwokuba ejjuma etuuse, njagadde ebigambo byange mbifunze, era njagala okuyozaayoza mwenna abaana baffe abakoze obulungi, abazadde abasasudde ssente, abasomesa abasomesa obulungi, ne board ekoze omulimu ogw'okukebera, ogw'okusetinga ebigezo n'okubikebera, ne Uganda Muslim Council tubeebaza ttiimu yonna ya education. Naye kati mutwale enjiri mugende mugamba abasiraamu abali eyo nti Uganda Muslim Council weeri. Era ndowooza mutegedde ani aliwo nga mufuti, kuba temusanzeewo mulala. Mutwale amawulire ago nti gwe tulabye ku social media, bajja kubagamba nti wabaddewo mulala. Kyova olaba nti nzize bwe baŋŋambye naye nti omulala ayinza ogamba nti ekifaananyi kyange tebandaze bulungi, naye nze mbaddewo. Waliwo omusiraamu omu gwe natuma entebe erigenda onkiikirire nga tanaba kubeera kyali, naye nalabye akagundi bagamba nti n'entebe bamurikogonaizi nze. Ensi bwetyo bwefaanana, naye munyweze obumu. Supreme Council weeri, mumwagire Supreme Council n'obugambo obwo butono. Let me take this opportunity to declare the releasing of the examinations of IPLE for the year 2023. Wa barakallahu fikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Lwa ddiini, lwa mawanga, ojja kusanga ng'eggwanga
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر صدق الله العظيم.